Hey everybody, Christopher Wing here, and I am in the process of making my next video in my Around the World series, which will take me to Epcot, my first park in Florida. But until then, I want to share with you some cool stuff that I recently got in the mail. I got two cool boxes, this one from D23 and this one from the Disney Store. I'm going to talk about this one first. This was a limited edition of 1200, which they sold on the Disney Store website. And I didn't know that it was even going to be out until my good friend Don Morin of Pacific Northwest Mouse Meat alerted me to it. By the way, really quick plug here, if you happen to live in the Pacific Northwest and you are a fan of Disney at all, I definitely recommend checking out pnwmousemeat.com. It is a very cool organization of local fans. They put on really cool meetups all the time. Their big one is coming up in July. It's going to have Marty Sklar and Bob Gurr, Imagineering legends, both of them, as well as Disney artist and historian Stacia Martin. Unfortunately, the tickets for that particular meetup are all sold out, but they have plenty of other events throughout the year, and it's just a really cool group, and Don is a great guy, so definitely check that out. But he alerted me to this one. I managed to snag one up. There were only 1,200 made. I got one. So let's take a look and see what's inside very quickly. So inside here we have the following contents right there. Let's take a look. So first there is this big blue box. We'll put that aside for a minute. There's a little smaller box here. We'll put that aside for a minute. There's a nice little publicity kind of poster photo thing for Walt for the upcoming Disneyland television show, which of course helped promote and even help finance Disneyland, the theme park. And then there is this envelope here with some cool ephemera in it. So if we open this up, I'll show you what's inside really quickly. So we've got an original opening day. Whoops. We got an original opening day ticket here for the press preview of Disneyland on July 17th, 1955. Along with that, there is a parking sticker, which is an actual sticker you could stick on your car if you were so inclined. Along the same lines, we've also got a bumper sticker from the pre-opening of Disneyland. You can say it says Santa Ana Freeway and Anaheim opens July 17th. Woohoo! Then there is one more little sticker, which is this little pennant here with Mickey Mouse on it, which is very nice. It says Disneyland. There's a pack of postcards here, which are the original postcards, which were actually sold in the park on opening day, which is very cool. I haven't opened up the packet yet, but I'll take a look at that a little bit later. And then last but certainly not least, there is the original opening day guidebook. I'm trying to get this so it's not all washed out here color-wise. But anyways, if you open it up, you can see it's got a map of the park as it appeared on opening day, which is very nice. And then the information about the different lands. Not a ton of information. Of course, there's no New Orleans Square at this point in the park's history yet, so that's very nice. And so let's put all that aside. I'm sorry I have to speed through this so fast, but there's a lot of stuff to get through. So there's that. That aside here. What's in the little box? So the little box contains this very nice little velvety box here, and you open it up, and there's a little certificate of, well, actually not a certificate of authenticity, but a certificate of verification, whatever that means. And then inside there is this beautiful coin that is encased in plastic. I guess it's actually a medallion, not a coin, because there's no monetary value associated with it, or stamped on it, I mean. Disneyland, you can see it's the opening day speech, which is on the base of the flagpole in Disneyland, and then down here it has the rest of the opening day speech, and it says July 17th, 1955. Very nice, in bronze. So we'll put that aside. And then what's in the big box? So the big box, let's take a look and see what is contained inside there. It is a bronze statue, replica, figure, whatever you want to call, of Sleeping Beauty Castle from Disneyland. It's very nice. It's quite heavy, actually. You can see you can actually see through the archway to the back, and you can see the front and back side are rendered there very nicely. Very, very beautiful. There you go. So that's everything you get inside the blue box. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed just because, everything that comes in here is very nice. You got this, and you've got the ephemera, but I don't know, in a box that was, this big, I kind of was expecting a little bit more stuff, but it's still very nice anyway. But no time to waste, got to move on. So, what's in the D23 box? So first of all, I like the design of this box. It's made to look like a book. It says from the office of Walt Disney, and even the edges kind of look like paper edges of a book there. And we open it up, and it's got a really cool chart here explaining the history of everything inside. So without further ado, let's see. We got an envelope from Walt's Original Studios in Kansas City. We got Walt's original business card from Laugh-O-Gram Films, also in Kansas City. We got a concept sketch for a poster for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. So if you're not familiar with Oswald, he was the predecessor to Mickey Mouse, and he'd probably still be the mascot for Disney if Walt hadn't lost him as part of a kind of legal battle with his distributor. Which brings us to item, whatever the next item is, which is this replica of a telegram here from Walt to Roy. And it's really interesting here because it says, leaving tonight, stopping over KC, arrive Sunday morning, 7:30. Don't worry, everything okay. We'll give details when arrive. Which is interesting because what he's talking about there is he's just lost the rights to Oswald and all of his animated characters. And you would think a lot of people would pack up and go home at that point. But not Walt. He's like, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry. I got this. And what he had as his sort of backup plan was this little guy who you might have heard of called Mickey Mouse, which is, let's be honest, it's really pretty much just Oswald but with different ears. But it was different enough, I guess, that he was able to make that into a success. Of course, Mickey begat the Mickey Mouse Club. And Mickey Mouse Club had a Mickey Mouse theme song, and they give you the original sheet music right here. Unfortunately, I can't really read sheet music, but I know how this song goes, and it's not the way you think. Normally, you think of the Mickey Mouse Club as, who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. It's not that song. It's a different song called Minnie's Yoo-Hoo, which I forgot the words, but the song kind of goes la da 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 da. Anyways, I'm a horrible. I don't know why I'm even singing. It's horrible, really. But anyways, that's the song there. It's called Minnie's Yoo-Hoo, and they put out a Christmas card to their staff employees that said Yoo-Hoo on the front, and there's inside there. Then here's a nice trade ad for Silly Symphonies, which came along a little bit later in color and sound, and it was recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, you can see there, an achievement. Then there's a nice little publicity still of Walt on the radio, which is very nice. Then there is an organizational chart. This is actually one of my favorite things. So you can see it's like, we're all collaborating, we're all working together, everybody's working towards the goal of the director, and everybody works for Walt. He's at the top. No messing with that, But Walt could also be magnanimous. So in here there's a cool sketch. This is actually a sketch that Walt did himself in a guest book for a guy named A.B. Calger, who I guess was a producer or something in Kansas City who gave Walt one of his first jobs. In fact, he actually wrote, "Thanks for giving me my first job," which is pretty cool. Imagine if you had a guest book and Walt Disney signed it and left you an original Mickey Mouse sketch. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Then there is this receipt from a train company, toy model train company in Europe, in London. And this is actually a receipt for the train that Walt brought back and installed in the backyard of his house in Holmby Hills in California, and later known as the Lily Bell, after his wife Lillian, and not to be confused with the Lily Bell parlor car, which you can get into if you get special permission at Disneyland. Then there's a nice publicity photo of Walt there. Then there is this cool sheet here of cool ideas that Walt had for the ideas for the Mickey Mouse Club television show. And it's kind of cool. It says, clubhouse at Disneyland, enter the club through a cave, up through a hollow tree, into the tree house, which sounds a lot like the tree house on Tom Sawyer Island to me. And then it says parable of the talents and contests and prizes. And then at the bottom it says, famous men suggest ideas for club, re Eisenhower. So I guess he wanted, I don't know if he was General or President Eisenhower at that point, but either way, there's that. I don't know if Eisenhower ever contributed anything to the Mickey Mouse Club. I kind of doubt it, but who knows. Then Walt and Lillian's 30th anniversary, and this is a cool thing because if you look at the date right there, it says July 13th, 1955. And as you've seen previously, the park opens July 17th, 1955. In fact, they give you another one of those press preview tickets here inside as well. But this takes place at the banks of the rivers of America, and it's interesting that Walt and Lillian had the park basically to themselves and whoever their invited friends were at the time, just for their 30th anniversary, before anybody got to see it a few days later when it opened officially. So that would have been a pretty cool party to get invited to. It's interesting, in the same spot where this is happening, on the banks of the rivers of America, a few years later, Walt would give Lillian another gift. They took a trip to Colorado to a petrified forest, and he bought a petrified tree stump and gave it to her for their 31st anniversary. And then about a year later, on their 32nd anniversary, it got installed in Disneyland next to the banks of the rivers of America, where it actually is still there today, and you can go see it. So that's a pretty cool, very unique piece of Disney history. Then there's a note here from Walt to Ward Kimball. Ward Kimball was one of the 9 Old Men original animators, and like Walt, he was an extreme trainophile, I guess. And so this is basically a note to him saying, you have a free pass, you're honorary vice president of the Santa Fe and Disneyland Railroad, and you can ride in the cab and any of the locomotives if you want to. So that's a pretty cool item. And there's a card here with Walt's autograph on it. Then there's another greeting card with some art from Mary Blair, who, as you know, designed It's a Small World and was a wonderful Disney artist in her own right. Then there is a kind of promotional card for Mary Poppins here, which folds open very nicely like that. It has some interesting information about the film. It's kind of the press preview stuff there for that. This is really cool. This is a photo, it's a postcard here, of a photo of the inside of Walt's Gulfstream jet, which I think is the jet that he took down to Florida when he was scouting out locations down there, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool. Quite a groovy kind of 50s, 60s interior there. And then there's a visitor's pass to Walt Disney Studios. And I have to be honest that I'm a little bit biased when it comes to this particular item in the box, just because I have, somewhere down here, I actually have my own visitor's passes. And you can see it's even got my name on it. And this is from when I got to visit the Walt Disney Studios when I was in high school. I got to hang out a little bit in the Disney archives. So, not to brag, but okay, I'm bragging a little bit. And then, last but certainly not least, this is, you know, the sort of the bittersweet piece in the box, which is, this is a draft with notes from Walt on it of his script for the what do they call it, the Florida film, which is basically the last thing that Walt really ever committed to film, and it was his kind of promotional film that he made for getting the financing and getting all the political wranglings sorted out in order to build Walt Disney World in Florida. Not only Walt Disney World as we know it today as a vacation resort, but you know, at the center of it was really Epcot, which was not going to be, again, an amusement park like it is today, but a real actual working city. And the letter goes into a lot of detail about all of the plans that he had for that. And you can tell if you watch the film that Walt was extremely passionate about Epcot, and it's really interesting to imagine what it would have been if it had been able to grow into what he had intended as a real, actual working, functioning city where people lived and worked. But unfortunately, we were out of time for tonight, and we're going to have to pick up at Epcot in my next film when I pick up my Around the World trip. And I know this has been a whirlwind. I wish I had more time to talk about all this stuff, but that's going to be it for now, and I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.